Have you ever woken up and realized you're not actually living? You're just existing? That the person staring back at you in the mirror has become a stranger? That every day bleeds into the next in a soul-crushing rhythm of sameness? And somewhere along the way, you stopped believing change was even possible? Paulo felt that. Every single day. He was drowning in routine, suffocating in silence, convinced his best years were rotting in the rearview mirror of a life he barely recognized anymore. But here's what he discovered, and what I need you to hear before this video ends. The moment you believe it's too late is the moment you surrender the only life you'll ever have. If you're ready to break free from that lie, if you're hungry for proof that transformation isn't just possible, but waiting for you right now, then smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because what you're about to witness isn't just a story. It's a blueprint, a lifeline. And it might just save your life. I'm about to show you how one man, written off, worn down, and utterly defeated, reignited a spark that set his entire world ablaze. And by the end of this video, you'll have the exact roadmap to do the same. Drop a 1 in the comments if you're all in. Drop a 0 if you're just watching. But I'm warning you, this isn't background noise. This is the conversation that changes everything. Let's go. The man who had given up Paulo wasn't just tired. He was gone. For over a decade, his life had been a ghost story, haunted by memories of who he used to be, trapped in a body that ached with every breath, chained to habits that drained him dry, widowed, isolated, fading. His mornings, a bitter cup of coffee and stale bread. His evenings, collapsing into a couch, staring at a screen that flickered with more life than he felt in his veins. The pain in his joints wasn't just physical, it was a constant gnawing reminder that time was taking from him what he'd never fight to keep. He'd accepted it. The fatigue, the emptiness, the slow, silent surrender to mediocrity. This was his life, and it was killing him. But life, real life, doesn't ask for permission to interrupt. The moment everything shifted. It happened on a Tuesday, an ordinary, forgettable afternoon in a park Paulo had walked through 1,000 times, seeing nothing. But that day, he saw her, Clara. She wasn't just running, she was alive. Every stride radiated energy, purpose, joy. Her smile wasn't polite, it was magnetic. It stopped him cold. When their eyes met, something cracked open inside Paulo's chest. A feeling he thought had died years ago. Hope. She slowed. She smiled. And then she said the words that would detonate his entire existence. You know, it's never too late to start over. Small habits can change everything. I really believe that. Most people hear words like that and nod politely. Paulo felt them like a defibrillator to a flatlined heart. Clara didn't just talk. She listened. She invited him for coffee, not out of pity, but out of genuine belief that the man sitting across from her still had fight left in him. And that's when Paulo made the decision that would rewrite his entire life. He chose to believe her. The first terrifying step, let's be brutally honest, starting is terrifying. Paulo stared at that bowl of oatmeal the next morning like it was a betrayal. His mind screamed for the comfort of butter and white bread, the familiar numbness of sugar and processed everything. But he ate it anyway. And you know what happened? Nothing. No fireworks, no instant abs, no miraculous burst of energy. Just one small choice. One act of defiance against the life that was slowly killing him. But then, day 2, day 3, a week, and suddenly, something shifted. The fog started lifting. His body stopped fighting him. Mornings didn't feel like punishment anymore. This is the truth nobody tells you. Transformation doesn't start with motivation. It starts with one decision, and then another, and another. Clara had told him to try stretching. 5 minutes. That's it. At first, Paulo felt ridiculous. An old man contorting on a yoga mat, muscles screaming in protest. But those 5 minutes became 10, then 15. And with every stretch, he wasn't just waking up his body. He was waking up his soul. The walk that changed everything. "Walk with me," Clara said one morning. Paulo hesitated. Walking had always been something he had to do, not something he wanted to do, but Clara didn't take no for an answer. As they moved through the park, something extraordinary happened. Paulo started noticing things. The sunlight filtering through the trees, the laughter of children in the distance, the rhythm of his own breathing. Clara walked beside him, talking about endorphins, about how every step was a message to his body. I choose life. I choose vitality. I choose me. And Paulo started going further. Not just in distance, but in belief. He realized the prison he'd been living in wasn't built by age or circumstance. It was built by his own mind, and for the first time in over a decade, he held the key. The battle with the inner saboteur. But let's not sugarcoat this. Change is war. There were days Paulo wanted to quit. Days the voice in his head whispered, "You're too old, too broken, too late." One morning, he said it out loud to Clara. "I think it's too late for me." She grabbed his hand, looked him dead in the eyes, and said something he'd never forget. "Paulo, too late only happens when you stop trying. As long as you have breath in your lungs and the will to take one more step, it's never too late." That became his battle cry. Every time doubt crept in, and it did, often, he remembered those words, and he kept moving. The body fights back. Paulo's biggest demon wasn't exercise, it was food. For years, he'd numbed himself with processed garbage, canned soups, sugary snacks, convenience over nourishment. Clara didn't shame him, she educated him. These foods aren't just empty calories, Paulo. They're stealing your energy, your clarity, your life. So they cooked together, fresh greens, grilled chicken with herbs, vibrant salads that actually tasted like something. And Paulo discovered something shocking. He didn't just feel better. He felt empowered. Every meal became an act of self-respect, a declaration that he was worth the effort. If you're still watching this and feeling the fire building inside you, drop a 1 in the comments right now. Let me know you're not just watching, you're ready to act. The doctor's office miracle. Paulo had avoided the doctor for years, terrified of what he'd hear. But Clara pushed him. Prevention is better than cure. When the results came back, even the doctor was stunned. Blood pressure, stabilized, energy levels, transformed, chronic fatigue, gone. The doctor looked at Paulo like he was witnessing a resurrection. "Whatever you're doing," he said, "don't stop." Paulo walked out of that office 10 feet tall. For the first time in years, he didn't feel like a victim of aging. He felt like a warrior. From personal victory to movement, here's where Paulo's story becomes legendary. He didn't just change his own life. He ignited a revolution. Friends started asking questions. Family members noticed the transformation. Strangers in the park approached him. "How did you do it?" And Paulo, humble as ever, shared his truth. Small steps, every single day, and the belief that you're worth fighting for. He started hosting gatherings in the park. What began as casual walks turned into a full-blown community called Steps of Renewal. People of all ages showed up, broken, hopeful, desperate for proof that change was possible. And Paulo gave them more than proof. He gave them a movement. The book that changed thousands of lives. Clara suggested Paulo write it all down. Your story could save someone's life. So he did. Never Too Late to Begin Again became a bestseller, not because of flashy marketing, but because it was real. Every page dripped with hard-won wisdom. Every chapter was a roadmap for those who felt trapped. Readers from around the world wrote to him, "Your story gave me permission to try again. I thought my life was over. You showed me it's just beginning." Paulo's legacy wasn't money or fame. It was hope, the love that bloomed in the wreckage. Through it all, Clara remained. What started as mentorship evolved into something deeper, a love built on mutual respect, shared purpose, and the recognition that they were both still becoming. One evening, watching the sunset together, Clara said, "Paulo, you inspire me every single day." He smiled, tears in his eyes, and replied, "That's because you showed me it was possible." Their love became proof. It's never too late for anything, not health, not purpose, and certainly not love. The final chapter. Paulo lived his later years with a peace most people never find. Surrounded by family, friends, and a community he'd built from nothing, he faced his final days without fear. Because he knew the truth. A life well lived isn't measured in years. It's measured in moments of courage, connection, and choice. When he passed, the memorial wasn't somber. It was a celebration. Stories poured in from every corner of the globe. A tree was planted in his honor in the park where it all began. Beneath it, a plaque. "In loving memory of Paulo, a man who showed us that every step forward, no matter how small, has the power to transform a life. May his journey inspire us all to begin again." Your turn. So here's my question for you. What's your first step? What's the one thing you're going to change today? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because Paulo's story isn't just his, it's yours, mine, ours. Drop a 2 in the comments if you made it this far and you're ready to take action. And if this video lit a fire in you, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because transformation isn't a solo journey. It's a movement, and it starts with you. Let's go.